My dear friends, today we gather in the 90th year of this parish to celebrate the great mystery of the Eucharist and to celebrate the life and deeds of Jesus Christ. Now, Jesus Christ was this great wonder worker. And as a prophet, he went from town to town, village to village, place to place, and he would preach the good news of God's love and God's forgiveness. And he preached in words that were moving, inspiring, words that they had never heard before. And because they touched hearts and mind and soul, the very being of the persons who heard them, like never before. And so wherever he went, great crowds followed him. And they want to hear every word he said. Now, in addition to his words, he also touched the eyes of someone who was blind, and they were able to see. And touched the ear of someone who was deaf, and they were able to hear. Even someone who had just died, he touched them, and they were raised to life. So this great wonder worker went all over. And again, great crowds followed him. Now we celebrate him today. And we are moved by his words, the same words. As John was said by Jesus himself, tell John what you have heard and see. The blind have their sight restored, the deaf hear, and the good news is preached to the poor. So I'm very pleased and thankful, Bishop, for inviting me here today. The Bishop wanted a guest, you see, to come on this 90th anniversary, who was articulate and young and strong, and who would be a bishop, but he couldn't find one, and so he found me. Now, I'm Bishop John Ricard, and I've had several lives before. I've been recycled several times. I was a bishop in Pensacola, Florida, your neighbor to the east. I was in Pensacola when Katrina came through here. And we came from Pensacola, you may not know, as Catholic Charities in Pensacola to help the people of Biloxi and New Orleans. Because we had a dress rehearsal, you see, in Pensacola the year before with Hurricane Ivan. So we knew what to do to help you recover. And I am so pleased that when I drive down Highway 90, what a great change has come, like this parish. Great change. Congratulations. And most of all, congratulations to you, 90 years. You see, the Josephites were founded right after the Civil War, right after the war. And they were invited by the Pope and the bishops of this country to minister to newly emancipated African Americans here in the South. And they came in great numbers, these Josephites, and ministered all over the South, including this place. And this is one of the places we had come years ago. And maybe with the other parishes, it's been more than 90 years. And I've been traveling to other places founded by the Josephites that were maybe a little older than you are, So you're still young at 90, but you're still here. And you see, when the Josephites first came, all over the South, they were very, very successful. They established parishes like this one, parishes in Texas, Louisiana, Alabama. Great success, even Florida. And the more they succeeded, however, the more resistance came in. People didn't want these Irish guys, these white Irish guys, telling these colored people what to do. And sometimes their churches were burned. And these Josephites were attacked. And the word got back to Washington and Baltimore, where they first came from, that this was not a good idea, guys. This is not a good idea to come back and disturb these people in the South. And so they kind of stopped. However, the seed was planted. It was planted. Like the seed is planted here. So when I go over to other places in the country, like Los Angeles, Denver, Atlanta, Georgia, Houston, Texas, and St. Louis, Washington, or Chicago, I see where the seeds has sprouted, and the descendants of those who were in these parishes are flourishing all over the country. There are black Catholics who were in parishes like this one, even Detroit, were in parishes like this one, is now doing well. With a few exceptions, of course. And so I'm here with you to thank God for 90 years and to ask God that He give us not only 90 years to come, but 90 times 90 years. Because God is good and God sees all things. And so congratulations to you. And please take care of Father Hyginus. He was my student. A very bad student, but he came through. Actually, he was very smart. And so you see, we have, with Josephite parishes, we have a best and brightest. And so we send our best and brightest to these best and brightest parishes, like Hyginus. So please take care of him. And please just don't report to me, report to the bishop. If you need to report something. Anyway, I was in Pensacola, as I said before, and I know what it's like to suffer hurricanes. That's a reality down here. And I know what it's like to have your electricity turned off for one month, to have no water for 1 month, because we had, as I said, Hurricane Ivan. So I know what it's like. I've been there. And that's the history of salvation, you see. God knows what it's like. Jesus knows what it's like. So Jesus can identify with us. And one of our parishes in way up north, in Baltimore, one day, there was a young man who was shot on the streets. I know this never happens in Mississippi, but he was shot in the street. And this young man was, a crowd of people came around and looked at this sight. And there was another young man looking down at him as well. And this was just in front of the rectory where this happened, on the streets of Baltimore. And this young man who was looking at this other guy being shot came to me and he said, yeah, I know what it's like for him. I know what it's like. Because I've been there. I was down there. I was shot myself. And I can prove it. And I know what it's like. So he picked up his t-shirts. This is summertime. He had a big scar on his side, a big scar. He said, I know what it's like, I've been there. And you know, Jesus came to us. And when he came, he was welcomed, praised, he was followed, but he was also crucified and put on the cross. While on the cross, his side was cut with a lance. And you know, whenever you see a picture of the Sacred Heart or of Jesus, that mark is still there. That mark. And all the statues are images of Jesus. That mark is still there. And Jesus points at that and says to us, you and me, I know what it's like. I have been there. I know your scars, your wounds, your pains, tribulations, because I have been there. I have been there. So I know what it's like. So when we talk to a God on Sunday about our pains and our trials and difficulties, God knows through Jesus exactly what we're going through. And God knows what will heal us and what will bring us life, full life again. And so congratulations on behalf of Father Brady, who was here, my classmate, and many other priests who were here for years, all Irish and Germans who came from the north in this deep south to bring the gospel of Christ to you. Thank you for taking care of them these 90 years, for taking care of, for the hygienist. I knew you would do well with him, get better. And thank you very much for inviting me here, and may God bless you with another, again, 90 years, in 90 years to come. Thank you.
Thank you.